Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Grand Millstone who teach and will well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect and the 1/3. Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel, which includes you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners. And Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. This is the book of Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword of destruction. And yeah, man, this place is not our place of rest. You know, I'll keep saying it. You know, this is not our place of rest, yo. Right? You know, so you see these fucking Edomites. You know, they have it so good right now, but what they're gonna what? They have it good on this side, but you know, when Yahushua comes back, they're going straight into captivity, yo. They're going straight into fucking hell, right? And you know, so the Lord, he's gonna, you know, and he might make you go through things, right? Because when the hour of temptation comes, which is when the mark of the beast will be mandatory, right? You know, you're not gonna be caught off by surprise, right? Because that's the type of shit that's gonna go down. You know, a lot of people are gonna get caught off guard, yo. Right? We're gonna get that out. This book of Revelation 3 and 10, it says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." Right? So that hour of temptation is coming, man. And what does the Lord do to prepare you, man? He gives you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? And he puts you through experiences you have to go through to, you know, gain that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? You know, he might, you know, take things away from you. He might, test you, give you problems, make you deal with certain individuals, right? He might shut your water off, shut your power off, right? And you know, this is the type of stuff that the Lord is doing to his men, because it's actually you know, chastising you, right? And consider this a good thing. Don't consider this a bad thing when this happens, right? This book of James 1:1. We'll start at verse 2. "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." Right? But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Right? So when we fall into these trials, temptations, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua who's actually testing us with, you know, different things, right? You know, and a lot of brothers have different problems. You know, they might have you know, their woman bothering them. They might have to pay child support, right? You know, some brothers got sleep problems. You know, for me personally, you know, I've been dealing with this shit for years, man. Sleep problems, man, every fucking night. You know, that's just the shit we have to go through, because we don't have this is not our this is not our place of rest, right? You know, you ain't gonna you know, and you know, everybody around you might be having a great time, laughing, smiling, right? And you're the only one that is, you know, having to go through shit, dealing with shit, you know, in your you know, in your wherever the case might be. It's because, you know, the Lord's ultimately dealing with you, right? You know, so it says, "Count it all joy when you fall into various trials," right? Because the Lord, he chastises his children, right? He you know, he disciplines his children, right? But these heathens, man, the Lord doesn't give a fuck about them. He don't give a fuck about them, man. That's why, you know, they have a great fucking life, right? This guy walking behind me right now, just fucking walking with his phone in the middle of the road, like, you know, this dude right here, he don't even know that sooner or later, all hell's about to break loose, right? You know, the people around you, they don't give a fuck. You know, they don't believe the shit's gonna go down, it's gonna hit the fan, right? And so consider yourself grateful that, you know, be grateful that the Lord is actually revealing this truth to you, right? You know, because you can be like one of these people that just have a good life, right? Go on fucking cruise ships, go on vacations, and, you know, get all the women, right? Get all the women you want. You know, have a bunch of money, have a silver spoon in your fucking mouth, right? But if you don't have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that's useless. That's just all trash, man. That's all trash. And then what, right? If the Lord's not dealing with you, then what? If the Lord's not dealing with you, right? What's gonna happen? Most of these people, man, they're gonna take that fucking chip, right? So, you know, just know, man, it's not gonna be a good thing. It's not gonna be you're not gonna have it easy on this side, right? You know. Now, granted, you might have seasons where, you know, things are better than others, but, you know, it's gonna be it's right now, man. You're gonna have to go through bullshit, and that's just the lot we have to deal with, right? This is a book of Ecclesiasticus 2:4, and it says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate." Right? So, you know, all your friends might leave you. Your whole family might hate you. That your whole family might call the cops on you. Right? You know, every day someone might fucking, wake you up. Right? Bother you. You know, somebody might try to, whatever, somebody at work might be, you know, vexing you. Right? You might get fired from your job. Whatever the case might be. You know, you just gotta have patience, man. You know, and this goes for myself included, right? Because you don't want to be like, what was it, Job's wife, right? Who had no patience, right? And she tried to curse the Lord, right? That's a very foolish thing. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him." Right? So, it's inevitable, man, that we will go through adversity. Right? We're going to go through lots of different problems. Right? And what happened to Job, man? You know, ultimately the Lord multiplied his blessings right after, right? After, in the latter part of his life, right? And, you know, that's how it's going to be for, you know, the elect, man. Lord willing, we're a part of that number, right? And, another thing I wanted to mention is, you just be thankful you're not one of these fucking, fucking people in the world, these, like a idiots just out here always partying, or like a fucking Muslim, because these dudes in Dubai, these Muslim motherfuckers, right? They have it good, right? They got it all. They have the nicest cars, all the wives, right? All the mansions, but what? They're heathens, man. They don't got the truth, man. So, we have more than what they have, right? You can't just be looking at people's lives and be like, oh, this guy has it so good, I wish I would be like him. No, you gotta say, fuck that, man. That's not how you're supposed to think, man. Because if the Lord's dealing with you, he's gonna give you, way more back, right? But, you gotta understand, on this side, you might lose everything. You might even you might have to get martyred for this truth, right? You might have to die, right? Some brothers might get martyred, man. It really just gonna depend, you know. This is Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, and for the word of Yahweh, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahushua for 1,000 years. Right? So you might have to lose your life for this truth, right? But you're going to gain it. Right? Because what the scriptures talk about, those who seek their life shall lose it, and those who lose their life shall find it. Roughly paraphrasing. So, if you have this in the back of your mind, man, you know that this place is not a permanent place of rest. It's not our place of rest, man. It's not some fucking, it's not going to be some thing where you walk off into the sunset, with fucking candy and rainbows and a bunch of, like a movie scene, man. This is not how it's going to work, man. But, be thankful that the Lord's showing you these things now, right? Because in that latter time, man, it's going to be fucking terrible for these people, right? That's why Ezra says, what? Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, right? Because he saw himself, during this time period, in the latter times, right? So, if and mind you, these prophets were really tough men. They were seeing wars. They were seeing all sorts of things happen in front of their own eyes. So imagine, how it's going to be for these people nowadays, right? Because these prophets were a lot tougher and harder than we are now, right? Just considering the time period that they were in. So imagine how it's going to be, man. People are going to fucking fold. It's going to be fucking bad. And so be grateful that the Lord chastised you now, right? And giving you struggles. So when shit hits the fan, you're going to be prepared, man, spiritually, right? So with that being said, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace and salutations to the Lord elect and the 1/3. Shalom.